I picked up the guitar for the first time in junior high, I think, and I tried to play that song Brain Stew by Green Day. Having trouble trying to sleep. I actually didn't like that song, but my friend was trying to show me like the simplest song he could think of. And I remember trying to move the power chord shape up and down the neck, and it just seemed so impossible. About a year later, my dad bought me my first guitar. It was a BC Rich Warlock. And I started to become obsessed with rock and heavy metal, and I started idolizing lead guitarists in those bands like Dimebag Darrell and Zakk Wylde, Kirk Hammett, Yngwie Malmsteen, and John Petrucci, and Michael Romeo from Symphony X. I remember a couple years there during high school, I would just lock myself in my room 24/7, just practicing nonstop, trying to learn all the licks and solos from their most popular songs. I think it was around my junior year of high school. My buddy Chris showed me death metal for the first time, and I think the song was Dirge for November by Opeth. And I remember thinking just how cool it started out. It sounded so good. And then and I was like, this is terrible. The song was great. Why did he have to start singing like that? That sentiment didn't last very long because I started to become obsessed with Mikael Åkerfeldt and his songwriting and his guitar playing and his vocals. Just everything about it drew me in. Anyway, before I knew it, I was all in on death metal, listening to bands like Cradle of Filth, In Flames, Death, Bloodbath, and all of them. I mean, they all had something very unique to offer, and that's where I was musically for many years. So about a year later, graduated high school and immediately enrolled in Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California. It was a huge culture shock, just coming from a really sheltered upbringing, being only 18, to just getting thrown into the mix in Los Angeles with all these different musicians from all over the world. Unfortunately, I had to drop out after only a year because I couldn't manage the commute and working the full-time job that I was working at the time. After MI, I continued to play guitar and practice and study music theory on my own, and I even started writing and recording my own music. I was all over the place. Prog rock and death metal. Jazz and acoustic stuff. Hip-hop beats, electronic music. Really didn't have any clear musical direction. I was just trying to experiment, and I was always tinkering around with my instruments, or in the studio, just trying to figure things out. A few years later, my buddy Chris and I, the same guy that introduced me to death metal back in high school, we started our own band called Mare Imbrium. It was progressive death metal, very much influenced by all the bands that we were listening to at the time. And we spent the next few years writing and recording a full EP, which we're really proud of. I had a lot more hair back then, yo. When we were finally done, we were both pushing 30 and
well into our careers, so we weren't really able to do anything with it. But, I was still playing and practicing guitar and getting into bands like Stained and Incubus, a lot of Coldplay, a lot of Frey. And I was playing a lot more acoustic.
Eventually, though, met my wife, and I think it was either the first or second Christmas, she bought me these two books, the Classical Guitar Compendium and Classical Guitar Anthology by Bridget Mermikides. And I just fell in love with guitar all over again, specifically classical guitar. After going through both those books and learning all the pieces that I could, I started looking at guitarists on YouTube, which really I hadn't done before, and that's when I first found Beyond the Guitar. And I think it was his Zelda medley. Was like the first video I watched of his, and I was blown away. I mean, I bought the tabs immediately, and I found Sam Griffin and saw his Rito Village video, and it was mind-blowing to me. It was like the first time I'd ever seen somebody take a classical instrument and play video game music. Man, I was hooked after that. And then the pandemic happened, and all of a sudden we were all sheltered in place. We couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't go to work, and I had a lot of extra free time on my hands. And I thought, you know what, I want to give this a try. I mean, I'm decent with computers and I know how to edit audio and video, so I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. I think at the time I was playing tons of Animal Crossing. I was like, okay, well, let's start there. Let's just take, a couple tunes from Animal Crossing and let's try to arrange it. And that's what I did. I started arranging, I think Able Sisters was the very first song I arranged, and then the shop closing theme. I took my iPhone in the backyard, pressed record, and I recorded my first video. And then the rest is history. Playing guitar and being a musician is a lifelong journey. That's my origin story. I hope you cats dig it. If you want to listen to any of my old recordings from my band or my solo stuff, you can find all of that on Discord, and the only way you get access to Discord is through Patreon. So check out the video description below for more details. Catch you cats later.